Hey YouTubers, this is Rob Muffet. Today we're going to do a quick review on a pocket knife. I was wanting to replace the knife I had. I wanted to get the best low-cost folding knife that I could use, open and close with one hand, that was as small as I could find. And I wanted something small because that way I know I would carry it all the time. And I wanted it one-handed because I've had problems before where I needed to open up a knife with one hand and I wasn't able to, and it caused a problem. In fact, at the end of the video, I have a story about how I almost lost a sailboat one time because I didn't have a knife I could open up with one hand. So let's go over what I found. I think this is kind of a sleeper. It's a knife that costs very little money. I found them between $7.45 and $8.23. It's very inexpensive. And it's surprisingly good quality knife, and it meets all my requirements. Let's go over it real quick. The outside has a nice scale to it that's rough, that is very good for gripping. This clip that clips onto your clothes, it's extremely strong. In fact, it's very hard to get off once you put it on. I don't think you'd lose this knife very easily if you clipped it onto something, although I don't use the clip. It has a bottle opener, and it also has a little place for a lanyard, but I think I'm going to take a file and file this down so I can make it into a screwdriver. And it has a little lever to open your blade, and the blade opens wonderfully. It's a pleasure to open up. It locks. It has a little serrated edge on top, and when you want to close it, some people said it's a very difficult knife to close. It's just the opposite. If you use these grooves that's in the knife here and here, and you place your thumb, also this part that you move to open up the lock is serrated, so it gives you a grip. It's an extremely well designed knife. You push your lock, and then you put your thumb in to the grooves. That way you can't cut yourself, and it shuts the blade halfway. So then you can just take your hand and close it. And notice how when you put your hand here, you've got the grooves to help when you use your fingers. Also, when you open it, you've got your clip that's bent just the right angle to hold your fingers. It's the more I use it, and the more I see how well it's designed, it makes me even more happy considering the price. And like I said, it opens beautifully. There's no slop. There's no play in the blade at all. It's a very strong knife. It comes reasonably sharp, but you can also sharpen it with a simple home sharpener. And it doesn't take much to sharpen it. It could be sharpened more, but it meets my requirements. And like I said, it's a rather attractive knife. It's very small. It fits in the palm of my hand. It's easy to open and close with one hand. And I wouldn't have a problem keeping this in my pocket. At first I thought I was going to take off the clip because I don't ever use a clip. But when I saw how well it's designed and how well it holds your fingers when you're using it, I'm going to leave the clip on. It makes the knife better. And like I said, these grooves fit your thumb perfectly. That way, when you press, you can't cut yourself because your thumb's in the way. And then just fold it down. That's very simple. I don't see how anyone would have a problem closing or opening. You can use both hands, and you can pull this and close that, but it's not necessary. Like I said, it's very inexpensive. It's very well made. It's not too light. It's medium weight. It's average weight. It's got a nice design here. These come in different colors for the blade, but I wouldn't do that because those colors come off. Just get the silver ones, and I think you'll be happy. It's something small that fit in your pocket. It's about, I think, 3.5 inches open all the way, and the blade is about 2 1/4. So you want to check your knife laws in different places. I'll leave a link to where you can go to a site to check your knife laws in your state in case you're worried about what you can carry and what you can't. Let me tell you a quick story why I need a knife to open up with one hand. One time I was sailing. I had a little tiny boat, and I was out sailing. It was real windy that day. And I was trolling, and I had a lure in the water. I was trolling with the rod and reel in the boat, And I decided to pop behind this little island. I was sailing my boat and I went behind this island so it would block the wind. And that way I could lower the sails and then sail over about 50 yards to where the dock was, and everything would be fine. Well, as I got behind the island, I did some tacking and I wrapped my line around my rudder. And it was a small 14-foot boat, but I went to the back of the boat and put my arm down in the water to untangle the line, and my hand got caught on the lure. I couldn't move my hand, and the more I tried to move it, the more the hook got into my hand. And now I'm off the edge of the boat on the stern, and I can't grab my knife because it's in my right pocket. And even if I could, I can't open it with one hand, and the other hand is down in the water. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I could take my pants off and then use my left hand to grab the knife out of my pants. But then even if I could, I couldn't open it. And now as I'm thinking what to do, the wind is still blowing real strong from the island, but the current is starting to push me away from the island. So once it gets away from the island over here, the wind is going to hit those sails and knock me over, or push me over to the rocks next to the dock. There was only 2 places in North Biscayne Bay where there was rocks. Right where my dock was, and in one other place on the bay. And I was like right in front of those rocks. So if I wasn't able to get that line untangled from my hand, I'd be stuck, and the wind would catch me and turn me over or blow me onto those rocks. What I had to do is, I got nervous toward the end as I threw the rod and reel in the water to take the tension off the line, and then was able to use my other hand and grab it. So, but if I would have had a knife, I could have opened with one hand, I could have cut the line. So there's been other times too I need to open up a knife with one hand. And if you have a knife you can open with one hand, it really comes in handy. And like I said, this is such a pleasure to use, to open and close. Like I said, check your rules in your area to make sure you can carry it. But for $7 to $8, I think this is a bargain. It's a sleeper. There's a lot of cheap stuff on Amazon, but when you get it, you find out why it is cheap. This is cheap, but it should be more. I would willingly pay triple what they charge for this. Don't tell them I said that. All right, guys. Hope this little tip helps you. I put on new videos every week. I have getting close to 500 videos. Have a bunch of playlists, and I got a bunch of cool people that I feature on my channel. You might want to check them out. So, guys, little knife tip. There's a million knife reviews on YouTube, and I thought I'd put mine out there. You might want to get a cheap knife that folds, that you can use with one hand, and I think you'll be happy with this. I'll leave a link to it down below, or you can check it on Amazon if you want to get it. Thanks, everybody, and I'll put new videos on. Also, now that the weather's starting to get a little bit cooler, I'll be finally putting that kayak in the water. So we should be having a kayak video coming pretty soon. Thanks, guys.